We are currently in a new field that I've started doing annual produce on. It's a 13-acre field in total, but you know, we're doing some real wide beds, or some real spaced out beds here. So we've got, we didn't get any rain in June, maybe 0.1 inch for the entire month, but then in July we got about 12 days straight of precipitation to some degree. And so all of these seeds that I put in the beginning of July are doing really well. So we've got some yellow crookneck squash here. Here. So basically what we'll do here is this is the first time that this has been planted and produce in some time. It's normally a hay pasture and has been cut for a number of years. So this is the first time that this ground has been broken in a while. And so we'll make a raised bed. I'll take a single plow and I'll plow inwards on both sides of a bed, make it the width of my wheel tracks, and then come through with the tiller to make a raised bed. And then with these, you know, we put 2 or 3 seeds every 12 to 16 inches, and then did a pretty heavy hay mulch. You know, we got contract baled 75 round bales of hay this year, so that's been a giant boon for all of these new cropland areas. So on these watermelons right here, we've mulched along the edges too, so as they grow out, they're gonna have a bit more of a head start on some of the competition with the weeds and grasses. You know, but you'll see in here already where the old hay mulch is that we've initially put down just a month ago. And it does a huge deal. I mean, it's a big benefit to have the hay mulch. It absolutely is a game changer for building up some fertility, soil biology, and you know, keeping in some moisture. You got zucchini squash here. So, you know, we're growing quite a bit of summer squash right now. And then we also have some other fruits. We got watermelon and cantaloupe and cucumbers right here. Check out these cucumbers. The canopy on these is amazing. So you got a beautiful bed of cucumbers right here. And over here we got some of the watermelons. So we've got some mini gherkins that we planted over here. Those are just like little Mexican cucumbers to kind of like a mini watermelon, but they're like this big. And so we know when we plant that, we do just a light mulch. You know, we're trying to keep some of that moisture in there and give a little bit of shade to some insects and things like that so they can build some habitat. And then down, you know, there we've got some radishes and arugula without that much hay mulch, because when you're harvesting that, it ends up in your stuff on some of those quick growers. So we don't really mulch that much on some of those. On something like beets or carrots, you know, that are in the ground for longer, or daikon radish, then we'll put a little bit of mulch on there, but not much. And then so right here we just harvested some French breakfast radishes, and we just scraped it with the stirrup hoe and broadcasted some lettuce seeds, with just, you know, just throwing them out like that, and then do the hay mulch on top of it. More and more I'm doing just kind of a random spread on the beds instead of rows. You know, I'm doing full stands because I want to use that hay, and I don't want to weed at all. I've done very little weeding this entire summer. I've just put a lot of time and sweat into spreading out this hay. You know, the thing about the hay is that you get so hot, you get so sweaty, you got it covering you because you're lifting it up and you're sprinkling it. It's in your face and in your nose. But you know, when some people would quit, I don't. You know, I just keep going. So I got a lot of heart, you know, and that's what pushes me. Mulch, when you get a little bit of wind and it's pretty dry, because then you can come up here. Give me some distance on there, so you'll figure out which way the wind is going, and then you'll kind of from very far away just give it a couple, you know, and we're just letting that wind take it to our bed. so it's not so thick, you know. You just want to have it decently thick, but if you're, trying to get seeds to germinate, then you do a light coating at first, and then you can come back and start placing it in more, which is what we did with these pumpkins over here, which we'll show you now. So we just ran new mulch on this. So once you get the round bales kind of thinned out a little bit, you roll them out pretty easily, and then you tuck it all in underneath these. So what we do is we'll lift up like kind of the end vines. You grab that and you tuck it in like that. And that's really putting the love and the care into it, you know. And look at how big and vibrant these are. You can make a lot of pumpkins this year. And I don't know if I would say this is the attention to detail. I'd say it's the attention to care, because we're not making straight lines or anything like that. Maybe it's the details of something, but we're putting more into the care of our plants, which is especially needed because I don't have irrigation on this field. So little things like trying to keep as much moisture in the ground as possible, deciding when's a good time to hoe or pull weeds or not, things like that. See, just like that, like it's not going to harm the plants that are there, but it's just creating shade, and it's creating a better living environment for the soil. We just planted out this bed a couple days ago, and so I made the bed with the tractor, planted the seeds, and then did a little bit of this mulch on top. And so that's kind of how thick it is when you first do a seeding on it. My beds are spread out so far. I don't really know if the corn is going to get a good pollination or not, but we've got a little bit of corn right here too. And next year we'll just grow a different plot somewhere else where there's going to be tighter beds, so I can get the corn closer together. And here's a little section of the cantaloupe. It's coming down to a point to where it's vining out enough now to where we can go ahead and put some more hay mulch on the edges. Right now, we could disturb this soil and do some weeding right here, but it's actually going to dry out the soil a lot more rapidly, and it's just too much of a risk for me to take as a farmer who's doing non-irrigated crops out here. So the much better idea is to come in there with the hay mulch and just accept whatever weeds might come through that hay mulch as a less of a risk than drying out this soil to the degree that from just hoeing it would do. All right, let's see about this. Okay, yeah, they got me beat. That might be that white scallop squash. I'm gonna see these all over my garden areas, just half-used, hay mulch, because we use them till we need them, and then it doesn't harm anything for them to get a little wet. In fact, it might help when we're doing a lot of this mulching to have some moisture to it already. When you're spreading it from up top, it's a little easier when it's drier, but if you got big sheets of it that are wet, you kind of lay it up on the edges like that and tuck it in as you need to. But you'll see that all over the place, just tons and tons of hay mulch, because that's how we build fertility. That's my big resource, and that's what I'm taking advantage of. There's my lower back. I mean, come on, look at the amount of fruits on this one. Talk about a heavy producer. Yeah, so I think we're gonna get like 100 pounds a week off of each squash variety real soon. We already started picking these yellow ones, and these aren't far behind. Look at this crazy one. It's like vining straight up. These things are going to be loaded up. But you know what they say, if you want to make $1 million in farming, start with 2, because you're going to lose 1 and then you'll have 1 more left over. You know what I saw? Wood. You know what I heard? Sheep. You know what I need? Bread. Amen, brother. You know, I've been thinking a lot though. I got approached by the zoo and they were like, we got this job for you circumcising the elephants. And at first I was like, no, I'm good. But you know, the pay isn't great, but the tips are huge. You know why the month of June was so dry? Just happens to coincide with my ex-wife's birthday. I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep, 'cause I'll miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing, 'cause even when I dream, yeah, as sweet as dreams will never do, 'cause I miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing. I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep, 'cause I'll miss you, babe. And I don't want to miss a thing. Like and subscribe if you want a butternut squash just like this. You want a butternut squash just like this one? Like and subscribe.